Hi, I'm Coy Jandreau here with Red Carpet Report for Kidsave's Weekend Miracle event on the Paramount lot. We are celebrating the release of Instant Family, I Treasure, and we're going to talk to a lot of people coming up.
Okay.
Coy,
Hey,
pleasure to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
I'm wondering what it's like to direct something so personal versus going through the experience of directing these other movies. What was it like the first day on set for you, since this is so close to home?
I was kind of in tears for a lot of making of the movie, which was, you know, when you're making a movie with Mark Wahlberg, kind of like one of the most like manly men you've ever met, to just sit there and be like constantly in tears in front of him was like difficult. I mean, he was, of course, was wonderful about it, but I was like, sometimes I'd be behind the monitor and I'd be, you know, just all choked up, and then I'd make him do one more take, just so that I could collect myself before I went in there. So that was interesting.
You were in pain and gain. I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
So going from directing other films to doing something that you're so invested in, did you find it hard to go through like a rewriting process, to like be active on set and not separate yourself from the work itself?
No, because it was never designed to be a biopic about my family. It started with our experience, but we met with so many other families, you know, people, foster parents and social workers and kids who'd grown up in care and adults who'd grown up in care, that we were incorporating all of these other stories from all these other families and individuals. So I felt like when we were there on set that I was just, really my job was just to make all of that coalesce into one story that made sense. But there were also things that didn't happen to me, like, for example, there's a scene in the movie where Lizzie's mom is brushing her hair, and it's a very it's a big tearjerker scene, and it's a real thing that happened. It's a real story that was told to me by another family. So even though I didn't experience it personally, when we were making that scene, I was still a wreck.
Yeah. So speaking of coalescing all of those different themes and worlds in writing this film, how did you balance the brutal honesty and heart with the comedy? Because it's really equal measure, and that's incredible.
Oh, thank you. Well, when you're in it, when you're actually experiencing it, the highs and lows are so frequent. So something really heartbreaking or you know, just tragic will happen, and then literally 30 seconds later something hilarious will happen in your real life. So it is this massive like ups and downs roller coaster ride. So we wanted the movie to have that feel where 1 minute something just completely ridiculous is happening and you're laughing out loud, and the next minute you're shedding a tear, you know. So that's what we were going for, and we worked really hard at that, so I'm glad that you appreciated that.
Yeah, it felt organic, it felt natural, it felt like the world. And I love that there are no villain per se. Like, I love those social workers being people, and I love that everyone's perspective was fair. Was that, obviously intentional, but was that something that while you were assembling the movie, the casting was a part of that, and making sure that everyone felt like as tangible and real as possible?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because there are really no villains in these situations. Every adoption story, no matter what kind of adoption, starts at some level of tragedy. And everybody involved, hopefully, has what's best for the kids at heart. And you wind up having a lot of different adults, whether it be foster parents, adoptive parents, social workers, birth parents. Everybody ends up in this soup trying to work together and figure out how to make these kids be okay.
Yes.
So we wanted to express that in the movie, you know.
My last question for you. I love that you're using a feature, a giant movie, to tell a very important story that is both the comedy and the drama. What was the initial spark of going from this is something happening to this needs to be a movie so more people know about it?
My writing partner, John Morris, I had been telling him all my stories, you know, so I was 3.5 years into it at that point, and he said one day, you know, I didn't know about any of this stuff before you started talking about it. I didn't know you had to take classes. I didn't know how you meet kids. I didn't know any of that stuff. I don't think anybody knows how this works. We should tell that story. And I thought, yeah, you know, I didn't know about any of it either until my wife and I got involved in it. So that's really where it started, is that you've seen a lot of movies that have an element of adoption in them or an element of foster care in them, but nobody ever really kind of got down into the dirt. And we wanted to do that, but we wanted to do it in an entertaining way so that it wasn't just another one of those movies one of those gut-wrenching dramas that makes people feel pity or trepidation about kids in foster care.
Yeah, and it translates. This is super informative and entertaining. I really am glad this movie exists. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Great meeting you.
You as well. So I've been Coy Jandreau with Red Carpet Report, and we talked to so many amazing people. We talked to the filmmakers. We talked to people whose life this is and influences, and just as much as this movie has comedy and heart, so too did this red carpet. Thanks so much.